Hi everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to talk a little bit about things a little more personal. Let's get on with tea time. I went into this journey with high hopes for a very personal journey, to be very connected to my family, to help them to be very involved, because this is the making and creating of their baby and their family, and there's nothing more important in life than your family. That's always been my belief, and it always will be. There's nothing more important to me than my daughter. That being said, there's some advice that I'd like to give to other surrogates out there to protect themselves, because I have been so deeply hurt by so many things that have happened through this. And yes, I understand I've already shared the physical aspect and how I was not informed of any of this, which is why I've made these videos to help you understand what could happen. And it's not to say don't be a surrogate. This is just so that you can be aware of the risks involved and still make that decision. Because would I do it again? Sadly, I probably would. Even though I'm too old and it was hell and I shouldn't, I probably still would, because I have that kind of heart, and my heart tends to override my brain a lot. And I think a lot of people who are surrogates have that same, not problem, I don't think it's a problem, but have that same response to things where, your mind might say, I don't know, but your heart is like, but they've been waiting for so long to have a family, and I just want to be able to give them that because I know how it feels. And that's exactly where I was. So again, we're going to go back a little bit, and things from my journey went super fast, and logically that was not a smart idea. I would say that as a surrogate, I would take a minimum of 4 to 6 months of what they call dating phase before you make up your mind. And here's why. I went into it too fast. If I'd known the things that I know now about the family I chose, there's not a hope in hell I would have chosen them. They're manipulative, they're angry, they're hateful, this was a business transaction to them, and that is not what I wanted for me or for the family. I get it. There is a business aspect, a business side to it. Of course there is. But the surrogates put their body through hell, and their emotions and their mind and everything. And it's hard on their families. So should we be compensated? Sadly, to at least some degree, yes. So I would say take at least 4 to 6 months. And just because, see, people who are desperate are going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to play on those heartstrings. They're going to make you feel bad about and want to help them. Like my intended parents had issues, and they'd been having issues for, 3, 4, 5 years. And I felt for them, because I know how hard it is when you want to have a family and you want that baby and you can't. And I hate to say it, but so much of me right at this moment is regretting doing this for them. And I love the baby. I have nothing but good things in my heart for her and good wishes, but I can't believe how poorly intended parents can treat a surrogate for what we do for them. I had them tell me at one point, because of my age and because of all the issues and the fact that I was exhausted and the morning sickness and the emotional strain of everything, my doctor had me go off when I was about 5 months. And so I wasn't able to work. So what that meant was they needed to recoup the costs associated with that of me not working, which was fine. It's really not that much when push comes to shove. And I wasn't claiming everything. I didn't believe in claiming everything. I didn't want to make this a money issue. I didn't want them to be out of pocket any more than they had to be, because they have to raise the baby after, and I want nothing but the best for this baby. And so I didn't claim every month everything, claim my food, my clothes, and the odd other thing until recently, and I'll get to that. So they had the audacity to say, your job's not stressful. You don't have to take time off. When my doctor is the one who makes that decision, not me, not them, my doctor. So I was deeply hurt by that. So that was my first, which should have been a huge red flag. It was a big red flag. I didn't talk to them after that for a while. Not that they reached out very often, and not that they kept in contact. Once I was pregnant, their attitude changed, and I felt like I wasn't important. They got what they want. I'm pregnant. I can't change my mind. So they don't have to, pay attention or follow or be involved any more than they absolutely had to. And that upset me. Because if it was my baby, I'd be all over them, calling them every day. Like, how are you? Are you okay? Do you need anything? Probably, maybe not the do you need anything, but just my nature is, it can complicate things. So just hopefully that part wasn't it. But like, do you want to visit? Do you need a hug? Like anything. Like, that's what I mean by, can I do anything? And I was just floored when they said that I didn't need to be off. I'm like, you have no idea what I'm going through. And it's not your place, nor my place, to say what is right and what's wrong. And my job is to make sure that this is a very healthy baby, and that I carry it to term, and it does as well as it can possibly do. So I took that very seriously, and especially with every complication I had, I couldn't work. I was so exhausted. And that's just one of the things about being 45 and being pregnant. So that disappointed me, and we had words about it, and I explained to them that, and maybe I'm a little off. I don't think I am, but I viewed it at the time, and I still do. I still worry, but I said, how you treat me represents how you will be with this baby. Because if you don't give a crap about me and you ignore me, how do I know that you're going to be okay with this baby? And I know it's not my place. People parent the way they parent, and I went into this knowing the only thing that we had okayed and came to an understanding with was that there was no corporal punishment in the house. I don't believe in hitting your kids. It's just, I know people say, and sometimes I think it, that, oh my gosh, that kid needs a good swift kick in the ass, but I don't believe in corporal punishment at all. So, that was the only thing that we agreed upon. And how they parent is how they parent. But I just was really worried because of how little they were trying to get to know this baby while it was being created, that they would not have that connection, that bond, that understanding of being a parent and what it all meant. Now, I think that I may have been a little hasty with that, because I have seen them since, and I, up until about a few days ago, was very confident in their abilities, but things have changed. So, and that kind of brings me down to, don't have all your appointments with your OB with them in the room. Make sure that you feel, if you don't feel safe with them, if you don't feel comfortable with them, because you need to be able to ask the questions freely and not get a response like I did of, well, you're okay, your job's not that hard, you don't need to be off. Because that costs them more money, and that's all they're thinking about. They're not thinking about your well-being, they're thinking about the money that it's going to cost them. And personally, I'm just making sure that this baby was doing well and is healthy, and that I'm doing, because if I'm not doing well, it's not doing well. And I already was having a hard time with all of the medical things. So I was well within my right to take my time off to make sure that I and the baby were okay. And that should have been celebrated, not thrown in my face. So fast forward to, and there was comments like that throughout, and very stupid comments, like with the gestational diabetes I had put on my Facebook. I'm like, oh, I get sad every time I walk into a store because I'm like, I don't know what to buy because I don't know what I can eat because everything has sugar in it. And they made a comment about, well, for Halloween, we'll get you all the candy you want. And I'm like, it's not candy that I want. I just want to eat regular food. Because there were so few things that wouldn't spike the sugars. So just ignorant conversation or comments like that. And they were very hurtful. And I know I was hormonal. And I still am because, I only gave birth a few weeks ago. So, yeah. And so fast forward to just before the induction and everything. And I was trying to see if they were going to come down early or if they were like how they wanted to work it so that they did not miss the birth of their child. Because I couldn't be responsible and feel responsible that they had missed the birth of their child. So I gave them plenty of notice and plenty of stuff. And it turned out that they came down as soon as I told them that I was having contractions after we started that Foley catheter induction. That was weird. But they came down, and it turned out that because of everything that happened, it was not a quick labor, but you don't know that going in. And I didn't want them to miss it because I know how special it is. And to be able to be there to cut the cord for their baby, I'm sure was magical for them. And they did come, and it did work out, and the baby's heart rate dropped. So I thought they might send me in for a C-section, so I told my daughter to get him here now. Because they ended up, I think they were at a hotel. I was laboring, so I'm not 100% sure. But they were at a hotel, I think, close by. And then, because the hospital wouldn't let them in, until I finally said, okay, get them here now. Because I'm pretty sure we're close to time. Whether it be that they're going to throw me for a C-section or she's going to be birthed, it's not that much longer. So they came, and it took a little bit more time, and the epidural didn't work. I thought I was dying. I thought my pubic bone was trashed. So I took a baseball bat and was whacking the frig out of it. It hurt so bad. So I was screaming, and I'm sure that was intimidating because they had left. To give me, I guess, space and to not have to hear that, because I'm sure it was traumatic for them, and I apologize. And then it went well. She was born. She was beautiful. They did skin to skin. It was magical to see. And all the anger of all the things that they did to me and all the things I experienced just kind of melted away for a time. And then the one thing that I said that I needed was to have a proper goodbye before she left, because I don't know for sure that they're not going to turn around and say, you're never going to see her again. Or not say it. We'll get to that. So I wanted to make sure that I had a proper goodbye so that I could grieve my loss, because I didn't think I was going to get attached to her, but I did. I grew her for 9 months. How do you not get attached? Like, it's just unreal to think that I thought that I'd be able to distance enough that I wouldn't feel anything. Silly me. So, yeah, I had asked for that one thing, and they said, yeah, I get it. I understand. That's fine. We'll make sure that you get that. Well, lo and behold, the day that they were going to leave and take her, they came in with her in the stroller. And I don't know if they were going to come 100% or not. They said they would, but I have a feeling they'd have snuck out if I hadn't showed up at their door at their hospital room. But they came over with her in the stroller, would not take her out. I got to wave goodbye at her, take a picture with them, and then she was gone. That is not the goodbye that I imagined. That is not the goodbye that I wanted. I wanted to be able to hold her and talk to her and wish her all the best and give her my love. And I didn't get to do that. And I did that knowing that it probably, hopefully, wasn't going to be the last time I saw her. But I didn't know, because I've had somebody do that before. When I had my son, when I gave him for adoption, they turned around, and the day after I could change my mind, they were like, no, it's now a closed adoption, because I wasn't smart enough at that time to get an open adoption and on paperwork. So this is why this tea is important for you guys to know, so that when you make your decisions that you're well aware and know that people say things to get what they want. And that doesn't mean that they're honest people. And we're going to continue this story. So we had a couple of visits, I think 3 maybe. One of them just last week. We went down and we visited, we held the baby. You could tell they're still new parents and they weren't overjoyed at us holding them, but they let us hold her and it was nice. And us is me and my daughter. She didn't come to every visit, but she came to the last one. We had a nice dinner and she got to experience some new food and it was interesting. And this brings me to the other point that you have to know is never discuss finances of any kind with your intended parents. That is through the lawyer and only should be done through the lawyer because it can mess you up like it has messed me up royally. And so I'm going to kind of explain that. So I felt really guilty that I'd been off work since 5 months. And I felt somewhat better. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back to work part-time so that they're not burdened with the financial strain of me being off and having to fully recoup the costs. Because I'm not supposed to have a loss. And so they have to recoup the costs of whatever my losses would be. So I went back to work part-time. And I deducted that off the expenses so that they wouldn't have that burden. It wasn't a lot. I didn't work a lot of hours. It was part-time. It was what I felt I could handle. So I put the claim in, and a couple days later, I get a message from one of the guys, and they're like, well, we need to talk to you about something. And I'm like, okay, I know exactly what this is. I kind of got a little testy with him, and it's like, it's kind of rude to tell me that and then not talk to me about it. Like, if you're going to drop that kind of bomb, you need to, talk to me about it. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to wonder and worry. But I knew full well exactly what was going to be said. And I was right. So they were mad. And they thought the agency was giving me misinformation. And I didn't know how to tell him that no, that's actually legit information. I tried to explain it to him, but he was just getting more and more angry and more defensive and telling me that no, I'm fine to work so they don't have to make the payment. The reimbursement, it's not a payment, it's all reimbursement. Reimbursement for my lost wages. And so, sorry, I just feel like I'm low. So, he told me that he felt that because I was able to work, I'm medically okay to go back to work, so they shouldn't have to make any more payment. There's one payment left. One small payment. And this is what is really odd. So I had agreed to do a second journey with them. But after he turned around and essentially, in my eyes and in my world, he was telling me, you don't deserve this and you are well enough to work. So, our responsibilities are done and we're not doing any of the reimbursements that we're supposed to do. Because I explained to him that no, technically there's this, and this, and I'm entitled to the 8 weeks, whether I haven't been medically cleared to go back to work. I went back to work because I chose to ease, am I saying it right? Ease the burden on them as much as I could, even if it's just a couple $100s, because I really didn't work that much. But I can't. I'm not at a place where I can't yet. There are some more complications. I still have pain behind the pubic bone. When I said it feels like somebody took a bat to it, it feels like they did. So I still get pains there. I still haven't had my period. I still have to find out about the blood work and the ultrasound, and I still have hemorrhoids. Like, there's so much still going on. I still have appointments that I have to go to, and all of that after the 10th won't be covered, but I still have ongoing appointments. So that was like a slap in the face. And I don't care about the money. It's helpful, and as long as I know what I'm budgeting with, I don't care. But the principle of it and just the way he said and the way I tried to explain to him, but he kept getting more and more and more angry at me. I had to just shut my mouth. And then when I got off the phone with him, I'm like, I can't deal with this drama. I can't deal with like everything from the pregnancy and how they treated me just came flooding back. And so I got really upset and I said to them, I'm not doing the sibling journey. I'm not doing another journey for you. I can't trust you now because of what you've done. And so that was just kind of the straw that broke my back. And that really sucks because I cried for hours, for days really, wanting to give them their family because my daughter's like, no, you shouldn't because you're too old and you're going to end up killing yourself over this. But I'm like, I have to finish their family. They need me to finish their family. But once I said I can't because I can't trust them, they stopped talking to me. And I didn't grasp why at first, but then somebody explained it to me that it's because I said that I wouldn't do a second journey. And that makes total sense. But I can't do it in good conscience, especially when they're ignoring me. And they have been ignoring me. They've read everything I've said, but they've been ignoring me for the past couple of days. And they took me off the baby's social media, and as far as I know, I'm never going to see her again, never going to see a picture, never anything. Because I wouldn't cave to them. I don't give two shits about the money. If I never got another penny, that'd be fine, as long as I know going in what the hell's happening. But I fulfilled my end of the bargain. I expect that they're going to fulfill theirs. And just because they think I'm medically okay, the world does not think I'm medically okay. Women are allowed up to 15 weeks of mat leave, whether they're a mother or not, just for having birth of a baby. So 8 weeks shouldn't be the end all and be all. And I was trying to make it less out of the goodness of the heart. Now, I learned today, and this is what makes me angry. I talked to finance, and I had only claimed about a third of my monthlies, and then on top of that, the reimbursements for the lost wages. So the amount that I'm entitled to is $25,000 in totals, but that's over and above for the lost wages. So they're freaking out over me saving them about $4,000 because I didn't claim everything. And I didn't do anything extra like some of the other girls go for massages, see chiropractors. I'm like, no, I'm not going to go and do this because it's too expensive. It's not an expense that I would pay, so I'm not going to have them pay it. And they don't appreciate any of that. They don't appreciate the fact that I saved them. But like $4,000 isn't that much, but that it was $7,000 is all I've claimed for my monthlies, plus the earnings was supposed to be, or the lost wages was supposed to be over and above the $25,000. So the fact that it fits in so nicely and it didn't even max everything out, I don't understand why they're mad. I don't understand why they're absolutely refusing to talk to me when they told me I would forever be welcome in their home, and that I'm family now, and that I'm Auntie Crystal. And then they've taken all of that away because I wouldn't do a sibling journey, and because I got upset that they're telling me about my body and what I can and can't do or feel or whatever in my body, when all I was trying to do was a good thing. So I reiterate, make sure you date them well. Do not accept less than 4 months. Make sure that you realize going in that they're going to say what you want to hear to get what they want. And so that not everything that an intended parent says is truthful or accurate. They want you to carry their baby because there's not very many surrogates out there. And there's not very many of us who have this heart that will give them that baby, and we'll do everything for them. And I wanted them to be so involved and so part of everything, and that isn't what they chose, and that's fine. I coped with that. It was hard at first, but I came to terms with it eventually. Again, use the counselor that's offered if you go through an agency. Use that counselor. I did, and can't say the professionalism was really high within the agency. Unfortunately, I think they're learning, but it's still available and it was still helpful. And as much as I know, I have absolutely no legal recourse of seeing the pictures of the baby or anything. Don't assume just because they're saying that they will, that they're being any way truthful. And I'm not trying to scare you out of being a surrogate. It's the best thing I've done in a long time. And it's something I am so proud of. And I would have done it again. And I would have done it for them if they had just treated me with an ounce of respect. And my heart is broken. And I cannot fathom how somebody could treat me like that after doing something so completely selfless. I could have died. I still have issues. I will have issues for the rest of my life in certain areas because I chose to do this for them. And I just want people going into it who want to be a surrogate, please go ahead, be the surrogate. Just do your homework, do your work, learn about these people, learn about who their friends are even, learn about their environment, unless you legit want nothing to do with them after. But that's not where I was. I didn't know it at the time even. I didn't know. I'm like, well, we'll play it by ear, we'll see how it goes. But then for that first 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it was, 6 weeks, before a couple days ago when they decided to just completely block me out of their life, I was enjoying being Auntie Crystal and having a baby to, give gifts to and to hold and cuddle and give my heart and my love to, knowing that this perfect little creation is something that I cooked in my oven. I know it's a weird term, but I did that, and she is beautiful. And if they had just treated me with respect, I would have done it again. I still might do it again for somebody else. But I gotta make sure that I'm okay first. So I hope that this has been helpful, and I hope that nobody else gets hurt the way I have been hurt. I don't know how I'm going to recover from this. I know that I probably will, but right now I am so deeply hurt because I don't understand how somebody could treat somebody like that. I don't understand what I did in their eyes that was so bad that you have to completely block me from your life. So know what you're getting into. Know what your expectations are in your heart before you go in, and do not accept anything less. I did, and look what happened. Don't talk about the finances. Don't talk about your medical issues or you're possibly going off work. Just do what you have to do to take care of you. And that's not their place. That is through the lawyer, through the agency. Do not inform them, I guess, but not until after you've gone through all the lawyers and the legals and the agency, because they should really be the last to know, because they signed up for this and they knew that these things were possibilities. And it just breaks my heart what I've been through. And I hope the best for this little baby. And I hope that the love continues and that they show her all the love that I have in my heart for her. Because I'm not going to be allowed to do it now. And I don't even understand why. But sorry, I don't cry. So we're just not going to. I hope. Oh, and here I go red. So sorry. So, I will keep my eye up and open for any questions or concerns. And, if anything changes and they open their heart, I will update you. because I am sure I will be happy as pig in a mud puddle, but right now my heart is broken, and I want you to be careful and love yourself and take care of yourself and put you first. You are more important, but creating a family is so special and such a privilege and such a gift. And if anybody can't see that, then they're not worth it. I'm sad, and I wish you all the blessings in the world. Take care.